Thank you, Khemraj. Thank you, Rachna. Thank you, guys. Let's start session number 5. So we have already done these questions, as in using these words in sentences. You already know that. So let's directly go to the homework discussion. These are a few idioms that you have to keep in mind. And these idioms come regularly in the GRE. So you have to go through these idioms in your free time and try to memorize them. And then we come to the reading comprehension part of today's discussion. This is the first question of today. What answer did you all get? Could you type your answers, all of you? You mean today's class 6? I thought today was class 5. So Virat, is today class 6? Oh, okay. My apologies. Allow me a minute. Okay, please allow me 1 minute. I'm admitting some students in the waiting room. Okay. Halfway through 5? Okay. No, the remaining then we will do in the extra class. Then today we will do class 6. It was more than half when the power failure happened. So the remaining questions of that class will be done in the extra class. Today we will do class 6. The first question of today. What answer will you get? Option D, yes, because we are talking about commonalities and cooperation, as all of you can see here. Those are the two clue words. One is collaborative and the other is commonalities. So when we add collaborative and commonalities, that means we are looking for a positive word. That's the leadership style. And the positive word would be a synonym of collaborative and commonalities, which is why cooperation. Although growth is positive, but it does not match with collaborative and commonalities. Politics does not match, ideology does not match, differentiation does not match. So now we will move to question 2. What answer did you all get? Acerbic is the right answer because it would damage his reputation. and he is making some kind of comment on the flaws and foibles. That means he is making some negative comments, which is why we need a negative word, and acerbic is a negative word, not buoyant, not premonitory. If he's warning, why would it damage his reputation? Cannot be laudatory and cannot be temperate. So the right answer is acerbic, which is like criticism, and that fits in the blank perfectly well. Next, we move to number 3. What answer did you all get? A and E, provincial and made light of. That's Birat. Pratiraksha is CNF, obstinate and kept abreast of. A and F. Vivek. Yeah, A and F is the right answer. Because he chooses to remain in his hometown. So we need a synonym of that. And if a person chooses to remain in his hometown, that means they will be narrow minded. But then we have the contrast. So the opposite of narrow minded is when you are broad minded and you know what is happening in the international scene. So a positive word for that would be kept abreast of, not made lighter, which is to make something casual. And knew nothing about will be negative, it will not fit in here. So I hope all of you got it why the right combination is A and F. If anyone has a doubt, you may ask. No doubts. Okay, we move to question 4 then. What combination will you select? The right combination is CD, acknowledged and took pains to cite. Diksha has got it right. Well done, Diksha. So what we are talking about is she could have called her own means she did not call her own. That means she gave credit to the earlier recipes and writers. So if she is giving credit, that means she is acknowledging the earlier books, not she cannot preserve someone else's book. She cannot enhance someone else's book. And then because she is making the effort to give credit, so she is taking pains to cite. She is not trying to imitate. There is no clue. So how will we say they are trying to? She's trying to imitate, and she is not trying to surpass anyone. So easy question. I hope all of you have got it. We move to the lizard question now. What answer will you select? The right combination is noxious and rejected and nonchalantly. CEI. That's right. So the First blank can be got because of other predators are avoiding them, which means the insects must be dangerous or they must be giving some kind of poison, which is why noxious, not rare or nutritious, that will not fit in. And although initially they rejected, of course, finally they're eating it. So what we need is initially they rejected. Why? Because they were spraying some kind of a hot irritant defense chemical. So we need a word for rejected, and we actually have the same word that initially the lizards had rejected the insects because they were spraying some hot irritant defense chemical. But finally, they obviously ate it because we have lizards snapped up in the beginning of the sentence. Snap up means to eat. And then, even after eating, they are going around in a casual fashion because there is no apparent ill effect. And that's how we get the answer that they are going casually. And because they are going casually, so the answer will be nonchalantly. So I hope all of you have got it. Next, we go to the film director question, and what combination will you select? It's very easy. You can solve from the third blank that it is an unwelcome one. If it is an unwelcome one, that means the director will be speaking less. So we need a word for speak less. And the word for speaking less is taciturnity, which is why this particular question is reducing our flow of words. So we need a word for reduce. And the word for reduce is stanched. But then we have the contrast normally. So normally means the opposite. This question that the interviewer is asking is making the film director speak less, which means normally the film director speaks more. So we need a word for speaking more or someone who speaks more. And someone who speaks more is loquacious. So this is how we will crack it. By starting from the third blank, the question will become very easy. Next, we go to question 7. Anyone wants to try? What combination will you select? Please type. So one answer is BDH, guard their authority, jealously devolve and encouraging. Yeah, that's the right combination, Virat. So how do we get it? For the first blank, we can use this point surprising. And after surprising, we have proposing to hand back power. So after surprising, if we have proposing to hand back power, means this handing back power is surprising. That means what do they normally do? They do not hand back power. So for the first blank, we need they do not hand back power. That's the reason we will select Bravo, which is guard their authority jealously, which means the same thing. They do not hand back their power. But now it is surprising that they are handing back their power. So now that they are handing back the power, that's the willingness they have. So what is the willingness? The willingness is to hand back power. And we need a word for hand back power. The word for hand back power is devolve, which means to pass on responsibility or power. And for the third blank, it is something positive because they are putting their house in order, which we have in the last sentence. The commission is starting to put its house in order. When someone is putting their house in order, it is a phrase. It's like a idiom, which means to do something positive. And if the commission is doing something positive, hence we go for encouraging, which is a positive word and not troubling or predictable. That will not fit in. So I hope all of you have done it the same way and got BDH. Next, we go to this paradox question, which is telling us about two opposite sides, the discrepancy, and answer will satisfy the discrepancy. So we need to find one option that will reconcile or satisfy the two opposite sides, and what option will you select? Um, the right answer is Delta. The police department has started enforcing the rules very strictly, and because of which the accidents are decreasing. So we have to satisfy why the accidents are decreasing. On one side, the accidents are decreasing. On the other side, the people riding bicycles are increasing. So how is it possible that the people riding bicycles is increasing but accidents are decreasing? And that can be satisfied by option D. The police department has started becoming very strict, and all the bicycle riders have to pass a test. They have to pass a safety bicycle safety course, and only then they are allowed to bicycle on the on the road. So because the police is becoming strict, on one hand the police has become very vigorous. Vigorous means strict. And on the other hand, the bicycle riders have to pass a safety course. So these two things combine to reduce the number of accidents. But if you look at A, it's talking about confiscating abandoned bicycle. That is not satisfying the paradox that why the accidents are decreasing. Option B is talking about automobile accident. We are not talking about automobile accident. We are talking about bicycle accidents. Option C is telling us about the people out of town, but it does not tell us why the accidents are reducing. And option E is talking about cancellation of a bicycle program for inspection and registration, but that has nothing to do with the reduction in the accidents. Confiscated is when somebody takes it away from you when you do not follow the law. So that will be the meaning of confiscation. But here the right answer is delta, which tells us one reason why the accidents are decreasing. I hope all of you got it. If anyone still has a doubt, you may ask. All of you are clear, no doubts. So we can move to the next question. Number 9. Based on this ant passage, and there are two theories. One says the ants are performing different tasks because of internal factors, and another group of researchers are giving another theory that the ants are performing different tasks because of this one, external factors. And what are the external factors? Some disturbance to their nest conditions. So what answer will you get for question number 9? All of you can type. Virat, you got AB. Khemraj, you got AB. Yeah, because the question is asking us about the 1970s to 1980s, which is the first group, isn't it? Remember, there are two groups. Let's say T1 and T2. And the question is asking us about the first group, because the question is asking us about 1970 to 1980. And the first group believes in internal factors. And what are internal factors? Age is a internal factor, so B is there. Inherited is obviously matching with genetics, and genetics is an internal factor mentioned here. Age, genetics, they both are mentioned. So the answer is A and B, but not C, because C is talking about external factors, and the first group does not believe in external factors. They only believe in internal factors. So that's the reason the answer is A and B, but not C. Same passage, next question, number 10. What answer will you select? All of you type. Yeah, C is the right answer. Good job. This is a tricky question because it is asking us about Gordon and early researchers will both agree. So we already know Gordon believes in external factors, and the early researchers believe in internal factors. But we have to pick up one option where they both will agree. If you look at A, it's talking about disruption of the nest. That is an external factor. So Gordon will agree, the early researchers will not agree. That's the reason A cannot be the answer. Genetics, the first group will agree, the early researchers, but Gordon will not agree because Gordon believes in external factors. So the answer is only C, which says an individual worker's tasks can change during its lifetime. And yes, that is correct. But the factors are different. The first group says internal factors, and the second group says external factors, but they both agree that an ant can perform different tasks during the lifetime. So the answer is only C. So good job, those of you got only C. Pratiraksha, Samjana, and Diksha, and Sam, Ravi, Khemraj. Good job, all of you. Next, the same passage is asking us which of the following. No, the last sentence does which of the following functions. So, what is the significance of the last sentence regarding its function? Let us underline it or highlight it. It says by removing workers or otherwise altering the nest conditions, researchers were able to change the tasks performed by the various groups, by the individual workers, I beg your pardon. By removing the workers or altering the nest conditions, the researchers were able to change the tasks performed by the individual workers. So this sentence is doing what? What is the role of this sentence? No, Virat, it isn't ABC. The answer is only C. The reason is it does not explain how experiments performed by Gordon differed from those performed by early researchers. We do not have that. How the two experiments are different from each other. Methodology is also not mentioned. What was the method used by Gordon to alter the nest? That is not mentioned. So the answer is only C. If anyone has a doubt, you may ask. If anyone has a doubt, please ask. No doubts, all of you are clear. So the answer of this question is only C, because A and B we do not find support. Now we go to the next passage of today's discussion, which is telling us about the Kamioka findings, and then there is the standard particle physics model. So one finding that is discussed is the Kamioka findings, and another is the standard particle physics model. So there is no one theory, there are two theories. Can you all type your answer? No, guys, Birat and Ravi, the answer cannot be C, because we are not talking of only one theory. So we are not talking about only one long-standing theory. And that's also the reason we will eliminate A, which is again saying a particular theory. I already told you there are two theories. One is the Kamioka findings, and the second is the standard particle physics model. Isn't it? So there is a first theory and there is a second theory. We are not talking of only one theory, and that's the reason we eliminated A and C. B is talking about scientists' inability, that is a negative tone, whereas in the passage, the author has said that these findings have potentially far reaching ramifications. So when you say these findings have far reaching ramifications, that is a positive tone. And in the end, the author says further experiments are needed. So finally, you will say there is a neutral tone. But why will we say inability, which is a negative tone? So option B can be eliminated. And the problem in D is it says several alternative explanations of the phenomenon. See, there are only two alternatives, either, and which phenomenon? The phenomenon is whether neutrinos have mass. And the topic whether neutrinos have mass has got only two options, either yes, neutrinos have mass, or no, neutrinos have no mass. So how can we say several alternative explanations? That is why the right answer will be E. And you can see it uses certain scientific findings, plural. As I said, we are not talking of only one theory. And everything is in implication stage because we are not totally sure. Further experiments are also required. So the tone is matching, The words are matching, and that's the reason the right answer is E for echo. I hope all of you are clear. If anyone still has a doubt, please ask. No doubt, which means we can now go to question number 13. And question 13 is asking us, according to the passage, one significant implication of the discovery that neutrinos have mass. So, what would be the implication of that discovery? If we come to know that neutrinos have mass, then which option will you select? Yes, D is the right answer, Diksha and Virat, because it's directly written here. If you read the passage, it says even a tiny mass means neutrinos would outweigh all the universe's visible matter because of their vast number. So if the neutrinos have mass, they will outweigh all the universe's visible matter. And that's exactly what D says, that the total weight of all the visible matter in the universe is less than the total weight of all the neutrinos in the universe because of their vast number. So this is an implication, and option D will be the implication of the discovery. One implication of the discovery, if neutrinos have mass, they will outweigh all the universe's visible matter. It's a direct question with a direct answer. I hope all of you have got it. So now we come back to sentences, and what option will you select for number 14? Yes, Kimraz, that's right. AB, which is fixated and obsessed, because you can see here we are talking about film study, and a film study is supposed to have both audio and video. So there is a audio part and there is a video part, but it says the scholars have been tone deaf to the sound of music. I repeat, it is written the scholars have been tone deaf to the sound of music. If the scholars are tone deaf to the sound of music, that means they are not focusing on the music, which means now they must be focusing only on the visual part. So the focus is on the visual part, and we need two words for focusing totally. And for focusing totally, we go for fixated and obsessed, not unconcerned with and indifferent to the other pair, which is just the opposite when they do not give it. So you can say they are unconcerned, indifferent to music. But here we are talking about the visual part, backlit close up, eyeline matches, and voyeuristic gazes. These are all a part of the visual part, and they are already tone deaf to music. So they are giving total focus and hence we go for fixated, obsessed, not unconcerned and indifferent to. Amused by does not have a pair, bothered by does not have a pair. So I hope all of you got it why the answer is A and B. If anyone has a doubt, please ask. No doubts. So then we go to question number 15. Consumers may think genetic engineering. What option will you select? Okay, we are looking for positive pair. Identify, we are talking about positive pair because consumers may think genetic engineering is something new. And then the question says, but humans have been modifying plants for ages. That means genetic engineering is not new. Then what is new? So the new is that genes are, so the new is not that genes are introduced, but that genes can now be moved from one species to another. This is the new part, which was not there before. By their research and study, scientists have come to this new idea that genes can now be moved from one species to another. And this is the new thing in their research. Hence, we need two positive words, and novelty and innovation are the two positive words which will fit in here, not the negative quandary and predicament. So we are not looking for a negative pair like quandary and predicament. Innovation does not have a pair. Discrepancy does not have a pair. So the right pair is A and D. I think Shritika and Diksha and Khemraj have got it right. A, D is the right answer. We need a positive pair. Next, we move to number 16, where we talk about only in the form of underwater, it causes some kind of a damage. So what option will you select? Yeah, that's right. CE, because identify we have, although the two sides will go in opposite way. So we look for, usually it is the comma, but here it is the semicolon. This one. That's the point of separation between the two sides. So after the semicolon, you can see only in the form of underwater, it causes damage. Damage means negative. So what we need here is positive, that it is not harmful. Not is already here. So if you say not harmful, that is equal to harmless. And that's exactly what we want. So in underwater, it causes damage, but outside in the air, it is harmless. So either we say harmless, or as GRE is very fond of using double negative. So in place of harmless, it will say, so GRE will not directly say harmless, GRE will say not harmful, what we call as double negative. And not is already here. So we need a word for harmful, and the two words for harmful are deleterious and detrimental. Negative pair, not another negative pair, trivial and inconsequential. Although it is a negative pair, but we are not looking for trivial. It will not fit in. We are looking for harmful, not trivial and inconsequential. So we are looking for deleterious and detrimental. Detectable does not have a pair. Substantive does not have a pair. So I hope all of you are clear why the answer is deleterious and detrimental. Next, we move to number 17. What option will you select? So the thing that we need to keep in mind is nevertheless is a contrast word here. So we identify the contrast is nevertheless. And on one hand, we have demanding discipline, which is difficult to understand. But on the other hand, we need the opposite, means it will be accessible to the common man. That means anyone can understand. So something which is accessible to common people is what we require here. And if something is accessible to common people, and the word for common people is non-specialist and laypersons, which is why the answer is C and F, and not expert and authority. We are not looking for this kind of a pair. Skeptic does not have a pair, and zealot does not have a pair. So what we are looking for is are two words for common, and the two words for common are non-specialist and laypersons. We will now move to number 18. So could you all type your answers? No, we are not looking for B and E. We are looking for, he is not trying to praise them. You know, you have to identify the word despite, which is a contrast, which means the two sides would be going in opposite way. And despite relying on the well-to-do, you know, that means he is dependent on the well-to-do people, the rich people. So when you add despite, he depends upon the rich people. But if you say despite that, he does not praise them. So we need the word for praise. That he is not praising them. Why? Because after the colon, you can see this part, which gives us the clue that he has a high integrity. He depicted the character of those he painted as he perceived it. So although he depends upon them, he is not trying to make them happy. And he is not making them happy means he is not trying to praise them. So we need two words for praise, which is sycophant and adulator. C and D will be the right answer here. To make somebody happy by giving them some positive words, like in an insincere way, like a flattery. So he is not trying to do that. And how do we know that? Because of this part, the last part, that he is depicting the characters of the people as he perceives them. So he is not trying to make them look better, and he is not trying to make them happy by being a sycophant or an adulator. Adulator in a positive sense, it is bragat, but we are not looking for egotist and bragat. Coward does not have a pair. Hypocrite does not have a pair. Someone insincere way or in a sincere way, but both are excessive praise, and he is not trying to praise them. We will now move to question number 19. Which of the following, if true, would seriously challenge the mayor's argument? So you have to understand what is the mayor's argument and then challenge it. And the mayor is saying police department has become better because there is a overall decrease in the report of theft. So the mayor is saying the critics are wrong, and the critics are saying the reorganization has made the police department less responsive. So once again, let me repeat: the critics are saying police department has become less responsive after the reorganization, means they have become inefficient. But the mayor is saying no, crime has come down, so the police department has not become inefficient. Rather, it has solved the reorganization has reduced the crime. And our job is to challenge the mayor, which automatically means support the critique. So, because there are two sides, one is the critique side, the other is the mayor side. If the question is saying challenge the mayor, means support the critique. So, which option is supporting the critique? Anyone else wants to attempt? The right answer is a yes. Good job, Ravi, Sam, and uh, Shritika, Khemraj, Diksha, no, not Samjana, and Virat. The answer is A because that's exactly what the critics are saying. That when the city police is perceived as unresponsive, the victims do not come forward to file their complaint. If the victims do not come forward to file their complaint, then obviously the number of thefts reported is going down, but that does not mean the crime is going down. So just because the theft is not being reported does not mean the theft is not happening. And this option will support the critic, and it will weaken the mayor's argument, who is saying that because of the reorganization, theft has come down. So I hope all of you got it. Not B, which is saying mayor's critics agree police statistics are the reliable data. If the critics agree, then there is no argument at all. Samjana, did you get that? Perfect. So after this question, we will move to the Frederick Taylor passage. All of you read it once. Um, just give me 1 minute. Yes, need to keep in mind. The first thing is there are two basic groups who are fighting with each other. One is the managers group supporting scientific management, and to fight against them, the other group is the workers. So one is the management group, the other is the workers group. A third perspective that we got to know is Henry Ford. That will come in the second paragraph. But in the first paragraph, we got the difference between the two groups, that the managers want the workers to work in a routine manner in the factory, and they are opposing 5 day, means they want the workers to work for 6 days a week. But of course, the workers are not happy, and the workers are saying we are ready to do scientific management. And scientific management means routinizing of the work. So the workers are saying they are ready to do routinizing of the work, but they want to work for 5 day. So they are opposing the managers by demanding 5 day working a week, 5 days a week. It's not directly written, but you can understand it from the fighting that they are having. That is the gist of the first paragraph. In the second paragraph, we have Henry Ford, who you would expect him being the owner of the Ford Motor Company to support managers, but he's actually supporting the workers. And the reason for that is he wants to mass market the automobile. And in order to do mass marketing, he needs to have a regular supply of workers. So he doesn't want the workers to be unhappy. So he's supporting the workers. Finally, in the last part of the passage, we have the labor union. The workers are now making themselves into a labor union, and they started their labor union in the year 1926, where they had 75,000 members. But by 1928, they had doubled to 1,65,000. But the important point is 70% of the total of this increase is only from one group, that is the building trade union group. So that is a cause of concern. That means all the labor unions are not totally supporting the workers. So this is the gist of the whole passage. I hope you all have understood the passage. Now, what will you say is the primary purpose of the whole passage? All of you type. which option is telling us the primary purpose or the primary concern of the whole passage? Yes, correct answer. Good job. So the right answer has been given by Sam, Birat, and Kimraj. And the right answer is status of a contested labor issue. Why? Because we will do it by elimination. The passage is not comparing the relative merits of the 2 points of view. The relative merit would be the advantages of the two sides. We are not comparing the advantages of the two sides. So it cannot be A. Option B is only talking about benefits to workers. That is one sided. We are talking from both the sides, benefits to workers and benefits to managers and Henry Ford. So it is one sided. C is talking about the reasons, but we do not have the reasons. Only the first part, the 5 day, 6 day, but other than that, we don't have reasons as in plural. So singular may be fine, but it says the reasons for, there may be other reasons. Passage does not tell us what are the other reasons. Only reason we know 5 day, 6 day. So we cannot go for C. And E says the role of labor unions in bringing about a reform, but the reform has not happened. Till the end, we don't know whether the workers' demand was accepted or the manager's demand was accepted. So how do we know whether the reform has happened or not? We don't know whether the labor unions have actually brought a reform. So by elimination, we will select D, which is a safe answer because D is not an extreme answer. It says the passage is about a contested labor issue during the 1920, and that is like a brief summary. The whole topic is a labor issue, that how many days they will work, and the two groups position is given in the first paragraph, and in the second paragraph we got to know about the labor union by the workers, and initially they were 75,000, then they became double. So it is not wrong to use the word status of a contested labor issue during the 1920s. It's a broad answer and it is a safe answer because it will easily cover the whole passage. And that's why the answer is delta. I hope you all got it. And after this question, we will go to number 21. Why is the word automobile mentioned in the passage? Primarily to do what? What option will you select? Yeah, correct. Abhimanyu, Khemraj, Shritika, Charlie. The nature of his business, which is mass marketing a product like the automobile. So automobile is mentioned because of the nature of his business, and the nature of his business is mass marketing, which is why the right answer is Charlie. Henry Ford supported the workers because of the nature of his business, where he wanted to mass market the automobile, and to mass market, it is written directly, to mass market his product, which is the automobile. And to mass market, he needs a regular supply of workers. So he was supporting the workers. If the workers are unhappy, they will leave the job, and then he will have to hire another group of worker, train them, and that will delay his production and supply of the automobile. So this is where we can get the answer by applying a little bit of strategy, that why automobile is mentioned And you can see the answer is written just before it, mass marketing, for which workers are needed. So he is supporting the workers because of his vision of mass marketing the automobile. So the nature of his business. And then which of the following is referring to the boast mentioned in line number 12 and 13? So if you read line 12 and 13, you will get to know what is the boast. The boast is initially they were 75,000, now they are 1,65,000. So this can create a boast, which is a mistaken, which can create a mistaken impression. The boast of 1,65,000 members who are demanding 5-day working week. What option will you select? See, the answer is option B, the number of unions. Because when you look at the 1,65,000 members, anybody will feel that all majority of the labor unions must be together, because initially they were 75,000 and now they are 1,65,000. So just by looking at this figure, you will feel almost all the labor unions of America should have joined them by now. But that is a mistaken impression, because the reality is 70% of this total has come from 5 extremely well organized building trade union. So although the number is doubling, but the different labor unions are not joining. It is only 1 or 2 labor unions, like maybe the automobile, from where it may have started, and then the building trade union. Other than these 2 trade unions, no other trade union is mentioned. So this can create a mistaken impression about the number of unions, which is why the answer is B and not A, which is talking about members or workers. Workers have definitely increased, so that is not the mistaken impression. Same in C, members. Members have increased. That is not the mistaken impression. And same in E also, the word members. D is talking about the bargaining prowess. We are not talking about the bargaining prowess. So the mistaken impression is about how many unions have joined together. And that's the reason the answer is Bravo. I hope you all got it. Bravo is the only option which is talking about the number of unions. So I guess this question is over. And now we go to the next one. What is the claim made by the reformers in line 5? It's a direct question, very easy. What option will you select? Portraying the latter as an antidote to the rigor of the former. So the reformers are saying reduced hour. The 2 topics are reduced hour and scientific management. Identify. One is reduced hour, the other is scientific management. So when it says the latter, what does latter refer to? If there are 2 topics, one is scientific management and 2 is reduced hour, can you type what does latter refer to? Could all of you type what does latter refer to, 1 or 2? Latter refers to what? Scientific management or reduced hour? Anyone? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, Pratiraksha. That's right. Former would refer to the other one, isn't it? That's right, Khemraj. That's right, Sam. Former, if it was written former, then it would refer to scientific management. But latter means the second one, which is reduced hours. So I hope all of you are clear. And what answer did you all get? So what is the claim of the reformers? Yes, the impact of the routinization could be mitigated by reduction in the length of the work week. That's exactly what they're saying. The latter is an antidote or a medicine. So reduced hour is an antidote or medicine for the problem created by the scientific management, which is very tiring and very monotonous and routinizing type of work. So this is their claim. By reducing the length of the work week, they will have enough time to bounce back, because working for 5 days in the factory is already training, and they are already so they're already using up their energy by working in a routinizing job for 5 days a week, and that's the reason they want 2 days off, which will be the perfect rest for the workers to bounce back and work for another week. So this is exactly what the claim is written in option Bravo. I think we can take a break now. It will be an early break, and but that's fine. We have done a lot of questions, and I can give you 20 minutes breather. So all of you enjoy the breather break of 20 minutes, and we will resume at 8 o'clock sharp for the remaining part of today's discussion. Nowadays, I am having a lot of electricity outage in my area in Kathmandu. So you never know when the electricity will go off. So it's better quickly we to go for a break, come back. So let's go for a break and we resume our session at 8 p.m. sharp. All right, guys, enjoy the break. I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock sharp. Yes, welcome back, all of you. The break time is over, and we should continue quickly and finish all as much as we can. So now we come to this passage on two authors sharing the payment, and we got to know they are friends. One is Sarah Fielding, is the name of one author, and the name of the other author is Jane Collier, and it tells us about their friendship. So, looking at the passage, not a very difficult passage. I'm sure you all would have read it by now. Which of the following can be inferred from the passage about Fielding and Collier having collaborated in writing the novel The Cry? What option will you select? Please type, all of you. So I have received answers from uh, Birat, Sam, and Pratiraksha. But Pratiraksha, you've gone for A and C. The right answer is all the three. So A, friendship, is written here. They were close friends, line 6, with common interests. In the same line, it is written they wrote jointly authored letters, so that is matching with B, their joint authorship of correspondence. And, they were having common interests, and enthusiasts also mentioned. That's the reason we have to say all ABC. Same passage. Now we go to the next question, which is asking us about which of the following claims about the cry is inferred from the passage. So, which option can be inferred? Anyone? Yes, commonly found, and there is innovation, so it cannot be commonly found. So it cannot. It has elements that are incompatible with Collier. We don't know. The passage is saying there is nothing incompatible with Fielding. There is nothing incompatible with Fielding means the novel is matching with Fielding, but nothing is mentioned about Collier's incompatibility. And D says shows the extent of their shared interest was not as wide. If their shared interest was not wide, then why did Sarah Fielding accept half the payment and she gave the other half to most probably Collier? It's not directly written here, but everybody is thinking it must be Collier because it is written she will give it to whomsoever she shall appoint, which automatically means her co-writer, where it is written they usually write together. So why will we say it is not wide? If it was not wide, then why she is sharing half the payment? She would have kept the whole payment for herself. Neither can we go for E, which says parts of it were jointly written. See, two writers do not have to write jointly. One can give the story and the other person can write. It is not necessary that they both have to write together. So the only option which can be inferred is B, that it has some topics which are of interest. It reflects an interest in the purpose to which fiction may be put, which is why it is written didacticism and innovation in fiction. So by process of elimination, we can find B is the right answer. So that is the end of the passage on fiction and the two writers. Now we come back to sentences. What option will you select? Practice set 3, question number 1. So you know what? Here we have to identify that there is a while. While is like a comparison, and on and then the other side we have nevertheless. Nevertheless is a contrast. So we have to look at the two sides of nevertheless, right? And if you look at the two sides of so while means we are comparing two things, and nevertheless means we are contrasting two things, and then we have decided to veto. Veto means block the proposal, negative, and on this side it should be something positive. So what we can say is, and there is a not, so not and negative will become positive. And you can see here optimistic is positive, and convinced is positive, happy is positive, and sanguine is also positive. So the only negative is unsympathetic. And if you say not unsympathetic, that means sympathetic. So while the governor was sympathetic, but at the same time, the governor nevertheless decided to veto the proposal. And this is creating the contrast, which is why the right answer is echo. It's not B, Birat and Sam. Did you all get it? While not unsympathetic means the governor was sympathetic, but finally the governor vetoed the proposal, blocked the proposal. Then only the contrast is created. I hope you all got it. Birat, Sam, you guys got it, or you have a doubt? You got it, Sam? Birat? Everyone else? Oh, veto means to block. Veto is always a negative. Veto is to veto. No, there is another veto power. A veto power is like in the United Nations, everybody has a veto power. You know what it means? Wait, I'll check the dictionary to tell you. Veto power is like one member can block the proposal. Yes, the UN Security Council. One member can block the proposal. If I'm not wrong, that's the veto power. Let me check again. A veto is the power to unilaterally stop an official action, especially the enactment of legislation. So even if one member is there, one member can veto it. One branch of a government to cancel or postpone the decision. Yes, that is one meaning. And of course, veto means to block. So this is where we go with that meaning, and we get the right answer. We will now move to question number 2. So Sam, if you knew all of that, why did you make a mistake? If you knew veto was block and all of that, you should have got it right. Isn't it, Sam? I'm surprised you went for convinced by. Ah, no problem. Let's go to question number 2. All of you try. What do you think will be the right answer here? The children's dash natures were in sharp contrast to the even temperament of their parents. Virat has gone for alpha, mercurial. Anyone else wants to attempt? Anyone wants to attempt? No. Yes, that's the right, Sam. Yes, you both have got it right. Why? Because of sharp contrast. So we need to go for something opposite. And even temper means positive. It means balanced, well balanced, even temper. And the opposite of balanced is imbalanced or wavering. And wavering means unpredictable or fickle, something which keeps on changing, it keeps on wavering. So the synonym of wavering would be mercurial. And that's how we get because of the word in sharp contrast. Then we move to number 3. So these are the word meanings, by the way. Fickle is mercurial, blithe is happy, phlegmatic is calm and lazy. Phlegmatic means calm as well as lazy. Apathetic is no feeling, indifferent. Cunning, is negatively intelligent in a selfish way. All right, so we go to question 3 now. The art exhibit, the major exhibit of modern art. What options will you select? I wouldn't be able to answer that, Sam. You can do Google checking, read some materials. I have got no idea. So all of you type what option will you select for question number 3? The art exhibit left the public dash and dash, intensified by the response of the art critics who stooped to vituperation to express their disgust with the new art. So this is creating the tone. The public is giving, the art critics are giving disgust, which is the intensified one, means the public will give a less critical one, because they are on the same side. It is being intensified, but critics are giving disgust, which is highly negative. So we need less negative, two words, and that's the reason we go for aghast and shock, which is negative but at a lower level. I hope you all got it. So then we move to number 4. Yes, it is the right answer. So now we go to number 4. All of you type what option will you select? Diksha, Bidat, Sam, you all have gone for CNF. That's right. Prescience and foresight. That's the pair. The reason is very simple. We are talking of insiders and outsiders. Identify, there is a comparison between insiders and outsiders. And the outsiders are, so insiders and outsiders, yeah. So the insiders know the reality and they are saying it is because of the president's inflexibility, which is something negative. Outsiders don't know why the company has become successful. So they think there is something positive about the president. And which is why the two blanks should be synonyms, and positive and synonym. If you look at option 1, I'm sorry, blank 1, perseverance is positive, popularity is positive, and prescience is positive. But we need a pair. The two blanks should be synonyms of each other. Perseverance is determination, and we do not have any positive word for determination, so we eliminate perseverance. Popularity is positive, but we do not have any synonym. So now it has to be prescience. prediction, and the synonym of that is foresight, which is how we select F, and we already have C, and we eliminate D and E. So this is the strategy that we need a pair. I hope you all have applied the same strategy and you must have got C and F, like Diksha, Virat, and Sam have got. So well done. This was a tricky question. And now we go to another slightly tricky, not very tricky. What option will you select? And the clue is to dispose the old equipment. Virat has gone for AD. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to try? Shritika has gone for CD, and Diksha has gone for CD. And CD, Sam has also gone for CD. CD is the right answer. We are talking of obsolete. Dispose the old equipment means it is becoming old and obsolete. So it is not about affordability or complexity or familiarity or inestimable. This is the clue to dispose the old equipment means because of technological superiority, the gadgets are becoming old. So we are trying to dispose them. Obsolescence and outdated is the right pair. Now we go to the advanced mechanical printing question. What option will you select? All of you type. So Virat, you have chosen ADI. That's wide application of marginalized and increasing. Yeah, I guess that's the right pair. Good job. So the thing is, we got to first understand we are talking about advanced mechanical printing techniques, which is helping the owners to print the newspapers cheaply. So obviously now it will become popular because it is helping the owners print cheaply and in mass quantities. So it is becoming wide application. Why will we go for resistance or great expense of that will not fit in? And when you talk about normally mechanized industry, the machines are more. So machines will marginalize the workers, not puzzle or isolated. These two words will not fit in. And because there is now a demand for skilled printing labor, that means the demand will make the requirement go up. So there will be an increasing demand for skilled printing labor, not ignoring and anticipating. That will not fit in. So it's a very easy question. ADI will be the right combination here. We are now talking about a pendulum in the United States politics. So what option will you select? Pendulum itself is the clue here. If something is a pendulum, then what will happen? BEG, yes. Right answer, Virat and Sam. So the thing is, pendulum means there is a, kind of a seesaw thing happening. Like sometimes one group is winning, another time another group is winning. And that's the reason if a major group is making a victory, its supporters become negatively happy, which is complacency. And the adversaries will now redouble their efforts. They will put in more labor. So what will finally happen is the victory will be reversed. And this is how we get BEG. Virat and Sam, well done. Pendulum was the clue. Your choice if you want to say that, but I think pendulum was the clue here, which could make it very easy. So now we go to the binary planet hypothesis and the giant impact hypothesis. There are two hypotheses here. One is the binary planet hypothesis, and the other is the giant impact hypothesis. So I hope you all have done it. What option will you select? The first question is about the binary planet hypothesis. So what does the binary planet hypothesis hold? Can you all type your answers? That's right, Diksha, Pratiraksha, yes. So the answer is Earth and Moon were formed at the same time because of the word simultaneously. We get that. And B, smaller objects joined together because of accretion of smaller objects. So we get that as well. But Moon's core is small. The first theory does not explain it. Why the Moon's core is so small. So we cannot go for C. The answer is A and B. Well done. Sam, Pratiraksha, and Diksha. Rachna, you got it wrong. It should be both A and B, not just A. We will now move to question number 9. What option will you select? All of you type. It is an accept question, so select one option which is not mentioned in the passage. Whose answer? The giant impact hypothesis as described in the passage answers all of the following except. So I hope I gave you the strategy for an accept question. Virat, have I given you the strategy for an accept question? Virat, have I given you to your batch the strategy of an accept question? Sam, Virat, who can tell me? All right, so all of you write down. For an accept question, we select either one option which is not mentioned. All right, sure, Sam, no problem. One option which is not mentioned in the passage, that will be the answer. So look for one option which is not mentioned in the passage, or one option which is wrong, or you can say one wrong option. These are the two things that we look for to get the answer of an accept question. So all of you please make a note. Either we look for one option which is not mentioned or one option which is wrong. Please make a note, all of you. Now try solving it. Shritika is going for Charlie. Anyone else wants to attempt this question? Pratiraksha is also going for Charlie. Khemraj is also going for Charlie. Birat is also going for Charlie. Anyone else? So well done, all of you. Charlie is the right answer. Sam is also going for Charlie. Yeah. Where the impactor originated, that option is not, that answer is not mentioned in the passage. And remember, the one which is not mentioned is the right answer. But let us go through the others. A, what happened to the rock that surrounded the impactor's core? The mantle rock that had surrounded the impactor's core would become the moon. So we can answer that question. A cannot be the answer. A cannot be the answer of this except question. B, what happened to impactor's core? The core of the impactor would fall as molten rock into the liquefied iron core of the earth. So this answer is also given. Answer, that means the answer of this question cannot be B. D, why is the moon's iron core small relative to that of earth? Because it is almost devoid of iron. All the iron is in the core of the earth, and the moon's core contains very less iron. That's why the moon's core is small relative to that of earth. So it can also be answered. And D, what was the size of the impactor? You know, it was about the size of Mars. So all the questions, the answer is provided excepting C, where it says where did it originate, and we do not know where the impactor originated. And the one option which we cannot answer is the right answer here. So Charlie is the right answer because it is a except question. Now, which of the following best describes the organization of the whole passage? What option will you select? So we have a couple of answers here. Shritika gone for E, Pratiraksha E, Diksha E, and Khemraj has also gone for E. Yeah, a flawed hypothesis is introduced and then an alternative hypothesis is presented. As you can know, the first hypothesis does not answer why the moon's core is small, so we can call it as a flawed hypothesis. But the second hypothesis can answer all the questions. That is the alternative hypothesis, the giant impact. But why the other options are wrong? A says the development of one theory into another. The two theories are distinct from each other. They are not developing into each other. So we cannot say development of one theory into another. B says two explanations are provided, both of which are inadequate. No, both are not inadequate. Maybe the first theory is flawed, second theory is not flawed. So how can we say both explanations are inadequate? C says a theory is presented and then evidence that undermines that theory. The second theory does not undermine the first theory. So we cannot go for C. And option D says similarities and differences between the two theories are described. But we are not talking about the similarities and differences between the two theories. We are just mentioning the two theories and discussing the two theories, but we are not comparing the two theories as in what are the similarities and differences between the two theories. So the right answer is E. A flawed hypothesis is introduced and then an alternative hypothesis is presented. So what we can do, okay, this passage, na? And after that I have boldface. Oh no, too many questions. I'll keep it for extra class. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I usually do this because in this class today, class 6, I have to do boldface and I will slowly discuss it, not go in a fast way. So I need a volunteer who will make a note, and this will be discussed in the extra class, which will be after class 10. In class 10, no, class 11 will be the extra class. Yeah. Could I think Birat should be the right person because he has attended all the classes. So, Birat, would you like to take up the role of the class coordinator of this batch? Birat, would you be? Thank you so much. So, please make a note. Everybody can make a note, but at least one person makes a note, then we have a bit of an accountability, and we need to become accountable in life. So, I will be accountable. You also have to be accountable. Birat, my dear, please make a note. Today's heading is class 6. So the first heading is class 6, and the next heading is VR practice at 3, page 152, starting from question number 11, I think all the way to 25. So that would be 14 questions. I usually keep it for extra class, I don't discuss it. So you can see there are till 25. And let me scroll down, consisting of 2, 3 passages. Yes, this is the last one, 25. So please make a note, class 6, the last 15 questions from question number 11 to question number 25 of VR practice at 3. That will be discussed in the 11th class, the extra class. Have you done it, Commander Birat? Excellent, Commando. So, Commandos, we are keeping these 14, 15 questions for extra class because today there are so many questions and it is not conducive for your learning and my teaching that we have so many questions to be discussed in one class. So we will. Yes, Brigadier Birat, BB. So all of you will agree that we are keeping it for extra class. And now we are going to discuss the boldface, which is a very important section. And I will do it in a very, uh, I will not say leisurely, but I will say at a normal pace. Otherwise, I will have to do it in a hurried way. And most of the students have a doubt if I do it in a hurried way. So let's start with boldface, the last part of today's discussion. And after that, we will do vocab discussion. But first, boldface. Please confirm, are you able to see the whiteboard that I'm sharing on my screen? Any one of you, please type a yes. Are you able to see? Yeah, thank you, Abhimanyu. Thank you, Birat. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give the heading as CR. Thank you for that. Thank you all for the confirmation. Please give the heading CR boldface. So, the heading is CR boldface. You all can simultaneously make a note in your journal or notebook. And this is the last critical reasoning which is remaining. I think CR type 8 boldface. And the thing is, we have to draw some diagrams here. So let me first draw the diagram. And So bottom line is there are two types of boldface, as you all can see, type A and type B. So let me denote them as type A, and this one will be type B. Okay, type A and type B. Type A, as you can see, is single boldface. This one is what we call as a boldface statement. Let us denote it as B1. And type B is, of course, where we have two boldface statements. Let us denote them as B1 and B2. And the thing is, the whole boldface is based on identifying what is B1 and what is B2. So B1 could be a fact. As you know, in an argument, we have facts, or it could be a claim, or it could be a conclusion. So the first thing that it can be is a fact, or the next thing it can be is a claim, or another possibility is it could be a conclusion. And that's the first thing that we need to identify, that B1 is a fact, or is it a claim, or is it a conclusion. And how to know? I will give you notes, not to worry. But first, please make a note. This is what we have to identify on type A. In type A. In type B, it will be the same, but we have to identify for both B1 and B2. They do not have to be the same, they may be different. So again, B1 could be a fact, or it could be a claim, or it could be a conclusion. And there is no guarantee that if B1 is a claim, then B2 cannot be a claim. B2 can also be a claim. You may end up with two claims or two conclusions, but one will be the main conclusion. So they both may be fact, or they both can be claims, or they both can also be conclusions. There is no such thing that there will be only one conclusion or one claim. So there is no such thing, and you have to individually find out in double boldface whether B1 is a fact, claim, conclusion, or B2 is a fact, claim, or conclusion. So this is the most important thing that we have to do at the beginning of getting a boldface. And now the question arises, how do we know whether a statement is a fact or a claim or a conclusion? For that, I will give you notes in your Viber group. So allow me 2 minutes. I'll paste it for everybody's reference. Yes, I have found it. And where is your group? Uh, yeah, this is the one. Basanta has written the message. So check your Viber group, all of you. I just now pasted the notes that you can copy and paste somewhere in your desktop or laptop. So this is how we identify a fact or a claim or a conclusion. If you look at facts, these are 100% true. They will have some kind of data, evidence, finding, research. These are the words how we identify a fact. Claim is like somebody's opinion and not backed up by any data. Like someone says it is going to rain tonight, that is a claim. But if I say it is going to rain tonight because of the weather report, then it becomes a conclusion. So the difference between a claim and a conclusion is that in a claim there is no data to back up, whereas in a conclusion there is some kind of a data to back up. I hope you all are clear. So once again, I repeat, a claim does not have any backup, whereas a conclusion has a backup. But they both are not facts. They both can be disagreed. You can attack a claim, you can attack a conclusion. Facts cannot be attacked. Facts are 100% true. Explanation is a link between the facts and conclusion, and an argument is the entire case study. Plus, the author's conclusion is also sometimes called as an argument. Excuse me. And if in any argument the author is giving his conclusion, his or her conclusion, the author's conclusion is always classified as the main conclusion. So if there are two conclusions, you have to see which one is the author's conclusion, and the author's conclusion will be taken as the main conclusion of the argument. So these are a few strategies and notes. Now let us go to solve one typical boldface question. Allow me 1 minute to take you back to the PPT. And if you see here, we have a single boldface. We will do both. So first we do a single, then we will do a double. You can take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Please take your time and then write your answer. What do you think is the boldface playing which role? Like, is it a conclusion? Is it a fact? Is it evidence? Is it judgment? So all of you apply the notes and then you can type your answer. I will wait for all of you. Yes, can you all type? What option did you select? Sam E, Birat E, anyone else? Shritika has also gone for E. Anyone else? Others participate. Rachna has gone for D. Anyone else? Khemraj D. Hmm. Pratiraksha D. Right. So there is a doubt between E and D. All right, let's start. I'll tell you exactly what we do as per Jambori strategy. The first thing we do is to identify what is the boldface. And if you see here, this is what the people are saying. It is the people's opinion. People are blaming the hunters alone for the decline in Green Rock National Forest deer population. So when you read it, it is like opinion. Opinion cannot be a fact. It can be a claim or a conclusion, but there is no evidence to back up. That means it is a claim. It is a claim made by the people that hunters are responsible for the decline in Green Rock National Forest deer population. Right? So once you know it is a claim, then how can you go for the word finding? Finding means a fact. I eliminate B and I eliminate D, which says evidence, which is also like a fact. It is not a fact, it is a claim. So first we eliminate B and D, and then there is no evidence. So it cannot be a conclusion. If it has some data, then only. The people have not given any evidence. So how can it be the conclusion? Or for that matter, the main conclusion? Eliminate. And then if you look at the next sentence, which starts with yet, this is what the author is telling, and the author is the hunter. So this will be taken as the main conclusion, that yet clearly black bears have also played an important role in the decline of the deer population. So you cannot put the blame only on on the hunter, because the black bears have also played a role in the population going down of deer, and the hunter is giving the evidence. In the past 10 years, the forest protected black bear population is rising. So you can see the deer population is going down and the black bear population is going up. So that is one correlation and causation, that the black bear must be eating the deer. And the second evidence is, in the deer hunting season, they found some black bears who were dead. And when they opened their stomach, they found they had eaten deer meat. So these are the data to back up what the hunter is saying. Okay, okay. But which one you got confused? The hunter is the author, na? And that's the reason this is the main conclusion. The statement which is in yet. Clear, all of you? So the boldface is not the main conclusion, and neither is it what the author or the argument is saying is correct. The hunter is going opposite, so the hunter is not saying it is correct. And once we eliminate A, B, C, D, the answer is E. It introduces a judgment. Yes, remember CJP. Either you call it a claim or a judgment, that the argument is opposing. Hunters are the same. The hunter is the people are putting the blame on the hunters, but the hunter is disagreeing. Sam, people are putting the blame on the hunters, but the hunter, the author, I mean, one hunter is the author of this argument. You got me? He is like the representative of the hunters group. So the people are putting the blame on the hunters because the people don't know the reality. They see hunters going in the jungle, and they see the deer population going down. So they are saying the hunters are killing the deers. But the hunters know, they have seen the black bear's population is rising, and in the stomach of the black bear, they found some deer meat. So they have evidence to prove that it is the 50-50. So you cannot put the blame only on the hunter. Occupational hunter. Yes, yes. No, no, no. Occupational hunters. Their job is hunting, occupation wise. So I hope all of you are clear why the answer is E. The boldface is a judgment given by the people, but the argument is going opposite because the hunter is disagreeing with the boldface, and the hunter is the author of the argument. So this is how we do by process of elimination. And let us now do one more double boldface. So all of you now try this double boldface. Best of luck. Again, don't be in a hurry. You can take your time. I will wait for 2-3 minutes. Has anyone cracked it by now? Or shall we do it together? Okay. Oh, A. 3 looks like A. Right. So majority are going for A. Shritika, Birat, Khemraj, Abhimanyu, Sam. Let's find out. And remember, the first thing is we try to identify the boldface. This is boldface 1, and this one is boldface 2. So boldface 1 says, surely the new company is starting up this year will create no more jobs. It's talking about a future thing. So for all you know, this is a prediction. How many companies will start, how many jobs will be created is all prediction about the new year, the coming year. And the second boldface starts with, clearly it can be concluded the number of new jobs created will fall short short of last year's record. That means it is the final conclusion. So once we have identified the two boldface, we start eliminating the wrong options. C says the first is an objection. There is no objection. And the first is a prediction. It is not an objection. Eliminate. Same. D says the first is an objection. It is not an objection. In fact, there is no objection. To have an objection, we need a yet or a but. And you can see there is no yet or a but in the entire argument. So where is the objection? And same, you look at E, it says there is some kind of a opposition. Opposes, where is the oppose? Isn't it? You like the word claim, either it is a claim or a prediction, but then it says second is also a claim. Second is not a claim, it is written concluded, means it is a conclusion. So two mistakes. One is the word oppose, another is the word claim. That leaves us with A and B. And the first part is correct. A says the first is prediction, B also says the first is prediction. But in A, it is written the second is the main conclusion, which is correct. But B says second is a conclusion drawn to support the main conclusion. But the thing is, there is no other conclusion. It is the final conclusion. So when it is the final conclusion, how can it support another conclusion? Which is why the right answer is A. So well done, all of you. Those of you who have selected A, because that is indeed the right answer. And this is how, by process of elimination, we can easily get it. If anyone has a doubt, please ask. Any doubts in the two boldface we discussed, please ask. No doubts. So I am keeping another two for your own homework. Practice it. If you have a doubt, let me know. You do this. Number 3, number 4, very easy. And if you have a doubt, you can ask me in the extra class. Fine. So all of you, please try. Now we go to the last part of today's discussion, vocabularies 9 and 10. The first family, all of you, please have a look. We are talking about some kind of a imitation when one person copies another. And in a comedy way, what we call mimicry happens in cinema or in theater. A person who is assigned the role of a mediator or an umpire. So that's where we use the word mediator or like a lead role. If it is a lead role, we use the word officiate and president, slightly different meaning. But if it is like an umpire, we can say arbiter, arbitrator, mediator. When we go to a place of worship, we call these words for respect: commemorate, deference, exalt, hallow, homage, revere, venerate. When you give a final answer, confirm, that's when we use the word affirm, ascertain, assert, ever, avow, contend, proclaim, testimony. When you give up something, abdicate, abjure, abnegate, like, you tell yourself, I will not go out to the gate, I will study till my exam is not over, I will not go after 9 o'clock, I will stay at home and study. After exam, I can go, not now. Seed, you give up, forgo, forsake, forswear, relinquish, renounce. Like we know Buddha, he was a prince and he gave up all the power, position to become a wise man. To give up something, to achieve something. Offensive and lusty, we all know, not meant for children below 18. Could be a movie, could be a book, which is not meant for young children. They have immature brain, so they may not take it positively. But for people above 80, you can take it positively. I mean, these are not negative words, right? I hope you all are getting me. These are not negative words, but yeah, vulgar is a negative word. No, these are negative. I'm so sorry. Offensive means, I don't think lusty is a negative word, but offensive is definitely a negative word. So it depends upon how something is written or presented. It's a subjective term, anyways. So we will take it as a negative family. To think deeply, when you are using your brain, remember we use our brain cognitive to think deeply, contemplate, deliberate, introspect, mull, muse, pensive, ponder, reflect, ruminate. So all of these are deep thinking. Easily affected, like a house of cards, slight breeze, it will fall down. Prone, like some people are prone to disease or cough and cold. It is their vulnerability, susceptibility, weakness. Opposite, impervious, people who are strong, they do not get affected easily. Careless, like this RJ, he should be speaking, but he is sleeping away to glory. So people, when they relax, they neglect, remiss, they miss their appointment, slip short. And opposite, stringent, when you are strict with yourself, you will not miss, you will not be careless. Enter without permission, we all know cockroach, best way to enter anybody's house like a cockroach, never invited. Impinge, infringe, intrude, obtrude, like a rude behavior. Friendly, like all of us should be affable, amiable, amicable, camaraderie, complaisance, congenial, convivial, cordial, fraternize, which is brotherhood, and sorority is sisterhood, genial, gregarious. So these are all for friendly. You have warm relation with everybody. Opposite is when you have cold relation, aloof, frigid, like ice, glacial, like ice. To irritate, somebody is irritating you, nagging you, picaying you, vexing you, irksome, miffed, heckle, harangue, great. So all of these are for somebody is making somebody angry or something is making you angry. Take away by force, that's when we use such words appropriate. Although appropriate also has like equal quantity appropriately. You cut a cake appropriately so that everybody gets a piece, but appropriate also means by force. So it has got two, three meanings. Divest, like a divest your share in a company or somebody is divesting. So it also has two meanings. Expropriate, again, somebody is taking away by force. Usurp, somebody is taking away. And preempt, from before, somebody is having a plan to run away. Inspiring fear, like your opponent is a very respectable person in the field, like let's say you are playing tennis and Roger Federer is coming to play with you, or you are swimming and Michael Phelps is swimming with you. So you are in awe of your opponent because they are so good. So you'll be in awe, formidable, redoubtable. Irritable, sometimes we get irritated, cantankerous. Maybe your bike tank is empty, you had filled it up, so you are irritated who took away the petrol. Chagrin, you are in a irritable mood. Chagrin, you are grinning, but you are trying to stay cheerful, but you are angry inside. Choleric, like the word cholera. Churlish, somebody is churling, or you can make up some story with churlish. Curmudgeon, your car is in the mud, maybe. You have to wash your car. Grouchy, sometimes people get into grouchy mood, they get angry, irate, irritated. Gruffy voice, you can know someone is irritated. Irascible and testiness. So all of these are for irritable. You collect stamps and coins like we used to do in school and college. So we examine them carefully to see if they are genuine. Peruse, pour over, scrutinize, and browse is casually like you browse a magazine. Yeah, these are what we call the commandos of every country. They wear such clothes they cannot be identified in the jungle. Camouflage is what we call it. Cloak, to hide. Dissemble, incognito, guise, mask, masquerade, shroud, veneer. So all of these are to hide. Secret, some friend tells you a secret only for you. Clandestine, within the clan. Skulk, within the skull. Sly, surreptitious, overt. Sorry, covert. Covert is hidden. Overt is not hidden, out in the open, the opposite of a secret. Something happening in a positive way, imminent; in a negative way, impending. Impending is always negative. Rude behavior, sometimes people talk in a rude behavior, a boor, brusque, curt, and terse. Fluent, yeah, this is how all of us should practice to speak fluently, especially in IELTS and TOEFL exam. So we need to practice with our friends how to speak properly in the different settings, like the formal setting, informal setting, and to pronounce each and every word, to take the pausing. We cannot speak very fast. We have to take the pausing and the pacing and the pronunciation and the tone, like we are asking a question or we are giving a command or we are asking in a polite way for permission, isn't it? So different sentences have different tone, pausing, pacing, tone, pronunciation, a lot of stuff which you will get to know when you join your IELTS and TOEFL classes. But all of us should strive to speak fluently. That's an art of communication. It is a very important part of our everyday life. People should be able to understand us. So communication is when you tell your words and thoughts and the other person can understand them easily. Then you are a fluent speaker. You are an articulate speaker. You speak eloquently. You are a glib is like a smooth talker, someone who can make you change your mind, like a salesperson or somebody who wants to make you agree. But people who are not good in speaking, you can say ineffable is a thing, you cannot express it in words, and labored, people not good in speaking. To delay, postpone the matter, we call adjourn, defer, protract, procrastinate. Beginner, at some point all of us are beginners in our task. So we call it as an apprentice, a person who's learning for the first time, dilettante, novel, novice, rookie. Immature is people at an old age, but they behave in a immature way, callow, puerile, like teenage. Yes, when we work under someone and we try to learn some tricks of the trade, that's called like we are the subordinate underling and the other person is the supervisor. So we learn under a supervisor. And falsehood is where we use the word mendacity, like audacity, somebody is telling you lies, mendacity. Perjury, like lying in front of the jury. Prevarication, changing the statement. Opposite, you can verify veracity, authentic. Counterattack, reprisal, retaliate. Something does not have any logic, illogical, like absurd, atypical, bizarre, ludicrous, outlandish, preposterous, uncanny. So something that does not have any logic. Gloomy. This happens when you look at the dark clouds and there is some kind of a sadness, you feel a bit sad, bleak, somber. Just opposite, when you listen to a story, and all of us love listening to stories, so we are feeling like captivated, enamored, enthralled, mesmerized, rapture, spellbind, infatuate. So these are all positive words. And the opposite is ennui, when you feel like bored. Widespread, like the pandemic, we are still having the pandemic, epidemic, pandemic, rampant, drive. Opposite is endemic, a small area. And brave, these are the words we use for people known for their bravery, audacious, chivalry, dauntless, gallant, intrepid, pluck, undaunted, valiant, valor. Embarrass is when we have the three words abash, discomfit, and mortify. So these are the three words we use for a situation where you feel a bit of an embarrassed situation. Something genuine and authentic. That's the next family we have. Bear with me a minute. So the next family we have is something genuine or authentic, and that's when we use words like authentic, legitimate, veritable. You can verify. And something which is not genuine is when we say counterfeit or factitious. Something which is not genuine. It is like fake. The next family we have is what we basically call as puzzling. Beg your pardon. Like somebody is giving you a puzzle and you cannot solve it. Puzzling, conundrum, cryptic, enigma. garble, inscrutable, intrigue, labyrinth, maze. So these are the words we use for some kind of a puzzle. Shy, when some people behave in a shy way, look at that photo, that is a unicorn. And the unicorn is also feeling shy, coy, diffidence, like opposite of confidence, reserved, retiring, timid, timorous. So these are all the words for shy. Scared, I beg your pardon. Not shy, now scared. So when someone is scared or fearful or lacking courage, then we use the word cower, craven, taunt, flinch, petrify, pusillanimous, shrink, and trepidation. Contradict, sometimes scientists they contradict themselves, irony or a paradox. Somebody is accusing you that you are a villain, so they are vilifying you. They are making you look like a bad person. Stigmatization, slander, libel, malign your identity, defame, aspersion, opprobrium. Your name is already in some negative record, ignominy. Like your name is in fire. Ig is for fire, ignition, and your name is in fire. There is some police case in your name. Infamous, for negative people, we don't say famous, we say infamous. Notorious, nefarious. These are all negative words. This is unknowingly. When you say something, we say unintentionally or inadvertently or unknowingly or unwittingly you said something. So you feel a bit sorry. These are all the words for fake, spurious, specious, fallacious, fabricate, illicit, phony, sham, sophistry, apocryphal. So these are all, and propaganda is at a bigger level, misleading information. Alert, when you are guarding something, you have to be alert, vigilant, and opposite is when you can relax, disarm, inattentive. Cure all, there are certain substances usually said to have a lot of cure benefit. So we call a substance which can cure every disease a cure all, or a panacea, or a elixir. And I guess we have come to an end of today's session. So the link is not working. You don't need the link. Today we finished class 6. So you need to go to class 7 and do the homework for before your next class. Our next class will be normally our classes is when? Normally our classes are on. Hey guys, what is our normal timetable? Sunday, Wednesday, na? Ha. So this Wednesday means tomorrow you will not have a class. Obviously, you will have a quant class. I think. Yes, yes, because it is exchanged. And this Friday, I think you will have your next verbal class only for this week. I think next week it will change or something. Let me confirm with our operations team. But for now, our next verbal class most probably will be Friday. I will confirm that tomorrow after I talk with Sabya Miss in office tomorrow. But tomorrow, I'm sure we will not have a Today we had a verbal class. We cannot have a verbal class tomorrow. So tomorrow, I think you will have a quantitative class. But the timetable was changed, na Pitambar? Normally Sunday, Wednesday verbal, Tuesday, Friday quant. I think I'll confirm. Don't worry. Let me talk to Sabya Miss. Don't worry. I will message in your group. Let me speak with Sabya Miss tomorrow when I go to office, and then I will confirm it tomorrow. Huh? So please wait for my message. I will speak with Sabya Miss and then I will message it in your group. You will know when is your this week only. The operations team wanted to change. Uh, so I think, but I will tell you the details tomorrow. Let me speak to the operations team. Talk to my colleague Sabya Miss. So boys and girls, good night from me, and I wish you well. Keep on working hard and chasing your dreams. Do not give up. Stay positive. Law of attraction. The more positive, the better you get. Chances of success. Do not feel sad. Sometimes we feel sad, but don't remain sad. Bounce back and help each other. Some of you are good in verbal, some of you are good in quant. You can help each other and let us put up a good performance. I want more good scores this year. So we already had two good scores, 326, 329. 326 by Pasang Serpa and 329 by Pratik Raj Bhandari. This is just the beginning, and we are in the month of May. No, this is mutual. When Sam, motivate you, I feel motivated myself. Trust me on that. It is like energy transfers from me to you to me. So trust me, it is mutual. I love my students a lot. And I have been teaching for 11 years. So I don't know what else I would have done other than teaching. But I get some energy from my students, and I get all my positive energy because of my students. So please don't thank me, but I want you to get that 320. We have to keep Jambori Nepal at number one position. Among the centers, Jambori Nepal should always be at one, two, three. That is my dream. I want to see Jambori Nepal at number one position always. And you all should be in number one position. This is my dream for all of you. So I hope you also watch the same dream, and together we create more records. And so that's it from me. You all take care, and I will tell you tomorrow after speaking with Sabyamis about the timetable. So please continue the momentum, keep it up, and God will definitely bless you. Do the hard work, you will definitely get the result. That is what I believe. So Pitambar, my pleasure totally. Sam, totally my pleasure. Everybody, please take care. Now I will log off.